Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you're having a great holiday season or otherwise commemorating in a special way the end of the year that is just ending. So today we have one more of this Christmas week's bonus episodes. We'll be focusing on how to help the product owner measure value. Stay tuned for the other 3 topics coming up this week. Each of these episodes this week is a companion to the Coach Your Product Owner e-course that you can get at bit.ly/Coach Your PO. That's bit.ly/Coach Your PO. This week we cover 5 topics that every Scrum Master should be able to help their product owners work on. And each of these 5 topics is a complement to one of those or more of those modules in the Coach Your PO e-course. So check it out. So let's dive into today's episode. Have you ever imagined what it would be like to drive a car with a blindfold? Imagine that you get into the car and you have to drive a road that you know very well. You have driven that road hundreds of times. However, this time you must drive it blindfolded. How would that feel? Unfortunately, this is the situation in which many of the teams that I help struggle with. They know exactly what to do. They have a backlog that is very clear. They know how to deliver software. They've done that so often in the past, but they have no idea where they are related to their goal. And the key insight here is that a backlog of items, of course, is not a goal. So yesterday we talked about how to define business value, and we also talked about how to define and understand goals for the product based on the context of your company. If you haven't yet checked that episode out, that's Monday's episode this week. As today, we will be building on that episode. So defining value, as we did yesterday, is not enough. We must measure it. Some teams have done work to define a goal, but they fall short on measuring it early and often. And this is key. I mean, in the Agile Manifesto, we talk about satisfying customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Well, that's great, but it also means that if we want to validate that the software is indeed valuable, then we must be able to measure that value also early and continuously, as that principle suggests. So how do we do that? How do we define concrete value metrics for our product? First, we must acknowledge that some metrics are more useful when it comes to making decisions, and others are more useful but not really enough. So let's talk about this. So the first one, the useful metrics for making decisions, are leading indicators. Leading as in coming first, right? So leading indicators are metrics that tell us about what is going to happen next. For example, all things being equal, if we have more people visiting our website, we are more likely to have more buyers on the website. And of course, here, I assume that there's a stable conversion rate. More on that later. So therefore, the number of visitors to our website or users of our app would be a leading indicator for later sales. We would be able to look at this metric every day, the visits to our website or app, and make assessments based on that. This metric is what we call a leading indicator, a metric that gives us insights into future events or future results. On the other hand, revenue, which we might care about more than the number of visitors, is something that can only be known after the customers make a number of decisions. Revenue is something that we usually only know after the fact, which means that revenue is typically a lagging indicator. In other words, once we get to know that metric, the revenue metric, it's already too late to do anything about it. The difference between lagging and leading indicators is very important. Leading indicators can be used to explore how to add more value to our products, while lagging indicators can and should be used to validate that our product is still delivering value. However, these lagging indicators cannot be used for short-term customer feedback-centered experiments, which is what allows us, as the principle says, to verify that we are satisfying the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. So this is one aspect we need to consider, the leading versus lagging indicators. But there are other aspects as well. This second level of complexity when it comes to metrics comes from the fact that we have strategic metrics, which are usually lagging indicators like revenue, repeat rate, etc. And we need, for our own management and decision making at the product level, we need day-to-day metrics, or metrics that change every day and are therefore appropriate for us to run experiments on. These day-to-day metrics are typically leading indicators to those strategic metrics, which are lagging indicators. Yesterday, we talked about how important it is to understand the strategy of the company before we can make decisions about which goal is applicable for our product. These strategic metrics are the focus of yesterday's first step. However, when we want to focus on measuring the success of our product, we must bring that ability to measure down to the day-to-day level. In other words, if we want to ensure we are delivering value daily, we must be able to measure that value daily. And of course, also any changes to that value. How do we get from strategic to day-to-day metrics? That's a very important question, and that's something we will discuss more tomorrow. So stay tuned for tomorrow's episode, where we will discuss tools like the business value equation and the metrics tree as tools for product owners that we can help them to translate strategic metrics into day-to-day metrics. But there's another topic we must touch on today still, and that is the topic of product dashboards. Before we finish off today's episode, we need to pay attention and learn how to build a process for the team and the product owner to pay attention to the right metrics early and continuously throughout the whole development process. And this is where the idea of product dashboards comes in. Product dashboards are a tool that help POs set up and bring the discussion of the success of the product and how to measure it to the planning meetings and even retrospectives when we need to think about what we might want to do differently. Yesterday, we talked about how to define product goals, and the product dashboards are the place where we make those goals visible continuously and help the team understand and feel accountable for those goals. When I help teams build their product dashboards, I help them to consider some critical information and have that visible at all times. So here's a few examples. First, I will ask them, how about having the vision statement, something that reminds the team of what the product is supposed to achieve, and have that present every day in a screen or in a dashboard that you consult on a daily basis, for example, at the start of the daily. I also asked them, what about the persona or target customer for our product? Could we have some information and a picture to represent that customer on that product dashboard so that we bring the customer and their reality to the team's memory every single day? I would also ask them, how about the current sprint goal and maybe even a tentative sprint goal for the next sprint? Would that be useful? And obviously, what we've been discussing this week, the key metrics for the product. Now, this can be related to product metrics. They could also include business or strategic metric. The important thing is to have both leading and lagging indicators, as we discussed, so that the team knows what is happening, not just happened in the past, but also what is likely in the present to affect our future results or future success. And for these metrics, I usually talk about graphing or plotting the evolution of those metrics over a few weeks or months. This product dashboard is also there because it helps create this notion of self-accountability. And that means we are not here just to deliver backlog items. We are here to deliver success for our product. Therefore, we must be measuring success for our product ourselves and be mindful of that and take that into account into the decisions we make. This The aspect of self-accountability is a key trigger and a catalyst for growing self-management and autonomy in the team. So that's something we can definitely use in our role as Scrum Masters. So today we talked about how to help the product owner measure the value. We discussed how to define yesterday. And here are the steps we went through. So first, define value. That's the whole episode of yesterday. Then define the appropriate metrics for that definition of value. So what metrics do we care about? Both leading and lagging indicator, both strategic and day-to-day metrics. Then in those metrics, make sure that you have that clear distinction between leading and lagging indicators. Leading indicators we can run experiments on. Lagging indicators only tell us what has happened in the past, so we need leading indicators as well. And make sure you have both strategic but also day-to-day metrics. So consider these two aspects. And finally, build a product dashboard with the product owner and the team to foster this self-accountability and ultimately also self-management. Now, this episode today is a complement, an addition to some of the Coach Your Product Owner e-course modules that we have available for you. You can check the course at bit.ly/coachyourpo, all one word, all lowercase. In Module 3 of version 1 of the course, we talk about how to differentiate between actionable and vanity metrics and the difference and how to set up those metrics. That's important, so check that out. That's version 1, Module 3. In version 2 of the e-course, we talk about how to scale up the product owner role to serve multiple teams and multiple products without necessarily spending more time. And in that module, we discuss the product dashboard aspect that we talked about today. So go there for more details. And we also talk about the vision for the product and how that can help with success measurement, the success measurement problem, that we are discussing this week. And finally, in version 2, module 9, we talk about 5 techniques that you can use to get feedback quickly and help the product owner make decisions. And we, of course, talk about process metrics. Process metrics are metrics that are related to how well we are executing the process. In that particular module, we talk about how to bring in stakeholder feedback to speed up feedback when it's not possible yet to show anything to end customers. And there, of course, those process metrics are critical for our product dashboard at some stage in the development of our product. Now, you can get more info and purchase the Coach Your PO e-course at bit.ly/coachyourpo. However, if you think that getting coaching for yourself or for yourself and the product owner is a better option, then you can contact us. We have a new coaching cohort coming up. You can contact us at coaching@oikosophy.com. If you have any questions, that's coaching@oikosophy.com. So keep learning and keep helping your team. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you tomorrow.
We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.